Hello, I'm Bob Ziegler. I was a former student at San Antonio College, a faculty member there, ultimately ended up being the president of the college. I was a young man enrolled at SAC, and I had no idea what I might want to do. There at SAC, I had professors that saw things in me that I never saw in myself. They cared about me, they gave me encouragement, and really changed my life. In a word, what SAC meant to me was my life. And my experience is the experience of many thousands of students all across this community. And all of those students have similar stories. But the end result is all of those students had their lives changed by working and attending the Alamo Colleges. A great community resource, and it's a great life changer.
Okay, good day, and welcome to another episode of A Seat at the Table. My name is Dr. Mike Flores, and I'm fortunate to serve as a chancellor for the Alamo Colleges District. These live streamed episodes, as you know, feature special guests and cover a variety of topics that are aligned with what we do within the Alamo Colleges District, our family of 5 colleges and our 6 regional centers, but most importantly, the fabric of each and every one of my colleagues and our students and community members. So take a seat and join the conversation with us this morning. For today's episode, as you could see from the vignette that opened, we're going to be discussing the 75th anniversary of the Alamo Colleges District. We're going to look at our past, and you got a glimmer of that. And we're going to speak with the current student, Samantha Grimaldi, also from San Antonio College, and we're going to discuss the future of the Alamo Colleges District, in particular, the role of the Alamo Colleges Foundation with incoming chair, Pamela Bain. So look forward to the conversation over the next half hour with our guests. And so I'm going to go ahead and welcome them. Earlier, we had planned to be joined by Foundation board member, Dr. Maria Ferrier, but she's unable to join us. And we are fortunate to have Pamela Bain as the incoming chair for the Alamo Colleges District Foundation.
Well, thank you for having me. I am delighted and honored, and pinch hitting for Dr. Ferrier, and that's not easy.
Well, Pamela, I want to thank you for joining us, because we'll delve a little deeper into the role of the foundation, but how critical. What a critical partner you've been with us in the Alamo Colleges District. And so we're fortunate to have you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And then I want to introduce Samantha Grimaldi.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. And you've had quite a journey, and you're celebrating a milestone actually next week.
Yes.
And we'll talk a little bit about that during this episode. So I'm going to ask, we're going to begin with Ms. Bain. And so Pamela, actually in getting ready for this morning, you've had actually quite a distinguished career and journey, and that journey continues. One of the things that I noticed is that actually you're an educator, so you
Right.
Began in education over a decade, and we're fortunate that Ms. Bain actually has a decade of service and was recognized for her service within San Antonio Independent School District. For that, and then as part of that, then pivoted to the private sector, where you currently serve as a president and CEO for Bain Medina Bain, an engineering partnership, and have also been involved in the community in a variety of boards and in leadership positions within those boards. So we're fortunate both with the perspective that you've had as an educator, and now with a successful career within the private sector, to have you as the incoming chair of the Alamo Colleges District Foundation Board. Can you tell us a little bit about the foundation itself and what it does and the role with Alamo Colleges?
Well, our role is to raise money. we've been in business as a board for 35 years, and we've started small, but this year has been an absolute boom. Even though it's 2020 and the rest of the world has gone, it's a non-year for us. It's a big year. We've raised more money this year than we've ever raised. And my personal feeling is that scholarships change lives, not just one life, but the life of one person, their family, their friends, their community. And it's like a small pebble in a big pond, and you never know how that little bit of money will make a huge difference down the line. You may never see it, but we think it's very important. So that's our effort, to raise scholarships and to augment some of our professors who are doing amazing things by themselves and need a little effort. But it all has to do with education. That's our goal, our reason to be. And this has been a whirlwind year. We started out with Alamo Promise, and I've lived in San Antonio a long time, and San Antonio is a very generous city. And this year, San Antonio has stepped up, and we have raised more money this year than we've ever raised, and it's an amazing thing. Alamo Promise has raised over $7.3 million this year. It's the last dollar in, but it makes a big difference if you're waiting for a book, and this year if you don't have a place to eat or enough to eat, or you don't have a place to stay, or you don't have the right clothing. There are many things that Alamo Colleges can do, not only in the classroom, but in a whole life. Our biggest money raising effort this year has been from USAA, a $2 million gift, which is just took us right over the top. But we have things in the hopper, and we are working relentlessly to keep raising money every year to make it better, and to try to get every student who needs a scholarship to have a scholarship.
Well, I want to thank you. I think all based upon the information that you provided in the role of the foundation, I think we hear the word foundation, we have a sense of what that looks like. But for me in particular, I know the past 2 years working with the foundation intently, I just want to thank you for your service. Now, Ms. Bain has been on the foundation board actually for the last almost 10 years and is now coming in as the incoming chair. And it's been a banner year. I know I want to thank you and your colleagues that serve as board members, and then also the team from the foundation staff for what they've done in raising that $7.5 million. What Pamela, do you think are things, for instance, how can our viewers help that are looking this morning, that are in with us this morning? What are some things that they can do in particular to help the foundation, or as you mentioned, to help with regard to supporting students like Samantha?
Well, money. pennies to millions. We'll take it all. One little thing, you may have noticed that I have a Fiesta medal, and we have something that's happening. This is the 75th year of Alamo Colleges, and with a little check for $75, you too can have this wonderful Fiesta medal, Fiesta medal, and it's a keepsake, and you should probably frame it because it's wonderful. But really, if you have, you can send money for any scholarship, or a particular scholarship. If you are a nurse, if you are a vet tech, if you are a mechanic, or whatever, you can send your money directly to a specific area. But every penny counts. and we use it wisely, and we appreciate every penny we get. More pennies is better.
I think more pennies definitely are better, as Pamela mentioned, $75. So to be able to give any from pennies to millions, right? So dependent upon your ability to give, I think it's significant. $75 definitely is a worthwhile contribution. We know, for instance, that students, that Samantha's peers, that students in particular could stop going to school for as little as $75 or even less than that, having to pay perhaps a bill or having a hole that they may have or trying to be able to buy a meal. So $75 is a worthwhile investment. Pennies, whatever that looks like, all the way to dollars or even millions of dollars are significant. The ability to give, but most importantly, the ability to partner with our students, I think is what is worthwhile. And so I just want to thank Pamela for what she mentioned in her role in partnership with the Alamo Colleges through the foundation. And then, as you know from the vignette, as you know from the backdrop of the 75 years, just the role that Alamo Colleges District has played within that. And then being able to, in return for the $75 is to have a 75th medal, which we're modeling, which you mentioned earlier. So thank you. What are some other things just for us to consider?
Well, we would love, pre-COVID, my pitch was go to visit a college. Just park somewhere, walk around, and talk to a student. And you'll be amazed at what you see. They're not all fresh-faced 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds. We have people in there in every age group, people who finally have decided, okay, I can take some time. I need to do more. I want to do more. I want to make more money in my job. Come and take a class. And so, of course, we can't do that now, but God willing, in the next year, we'll erase 2020 and have a do-over. And once we can be here live, you need to visit a college. You will be astounded at the way the college looks and the many areas that you can be a part of. As I said, nursing, vet tech, auto mechanics, airplane. I mean, there's thousands of places you can go. And for me, it's like a tonic. It's better than a vitamin shot to see these great people. Last week there was on Facebook, there was a photo of a woman and her daughter, and she had just graduated. And I sent to Dr. Mike, I love this photo because it tells you these are lives. This woman and her daughter. Mm-hmm. And her daughter may then teach her daughters.
Yes.
It's a boomlet. And I could go on, but I'll stop. Other people need to speak.
So I think as Pamela mentioned in particular, the ways to give the 75 for 75 campaign. The other is for us to have opportunities for partners or potential donors to get a sense of what it is like, in particular student life at any one of our colleges. And that varies anywhere from 14 years of age in our high school programs plus that we look at that. And we're fortunate to be joined by San Antonio College student and soon to be San Antonio College graduate, Samantha Grimaldi. And so I'm gonna ask a couple of questions from Samantha. And so just a nice kind of question to open up with is just to tell us a little bit about yourself and those watching at home and why you chose to go to college.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am currently a sophomore at San Antonio College and will be graduating at the end of this semester. I'm the current president of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society at San Antonio College, as well as a member of the Student Leadership Institute. My mom is a graduate herself, or received her graduate's degree in education. So school has always been a very important thing growing up, as well as receiving a degree of higher education. Not only that, but I love learning. I've been a learner all my life, and it's just something I've always loved to do.
It's wonderful. So you're graduating this, next week essentially with
Yes.
finals week, right? It's the
Correct.
completion of the semester, which is an important milestone. Ms. Bain mentioned being able to get a sense of what campus is like, and also having conversations with students. So what's something that you really enjoy during your time at San Antonio College?
There is for those of you who have been on the San Antonio College campus, a piano in the Fiesta Room.
Okay.
And I have played piano for about 6 or 7 years of my life. So when there's no one in there, I like to go and tinker around on it just to have a little downtime. Then also all of the different events that we were having on campus before COVID, whether it was the SAC Roundup or Spooktacular or Sacktacular, they were all so much fun to go to.
Well, good. I think those are many of the things that folks see and attribute to college or campus life. So I think that's important. Tell us a little bit about, earlier in the conversation, we talked about the role of scholarships, and with the Alamo Colleges Foundation plays a critical role in doing that. What are some of the scholarships you may have received, and tell us how impactful those have been in your career?
Yes, so I have been lucky enough to receive several scholarships in my time here at SAC. A couple of those coming from being an SLI student, as well as the SLI Employee Give Back Scholarship, which comes essentially directly from the faculty that work in SLI. I've also received a presidential scholarship from Dr. Vela, as well as I actually last year won second place in the holiday card decoration contest.
Yes.
So I received a scholarship for that as well.
Well, wonderful. So what are some of the things, because we are joined by a lot of my colleagues, faculty, staff at the colleges, but also many community members who tune in either live now or later on with us. So what would you tell potential donors who are interested in giving to the Alamo Colleges Foundation?
I would tell them that scholarships are so very important to so many students of so many different walks of life. I myself was raised by a single mother, so growing up, since higher education was always on this pedestal, I always wondered, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to pay for this? My mom, doesn't make that much money, so being able to receive those scholarships for academics, for my creativity from that holiday card contest have been so wonderful and have helped me, get a degree, and it's been amazing.
Well, I think that's what's so important. I think we pride ourselves at Alamo Colleges in providing a low cost but high quality undergraduate experience in particular. But we know that the cost of education could still be a challenge for many students and their families. And so the scholarships, I know, play a critical role, such as the ones that you mentioned in your life. And then Ms. Bain mentioned Alamo Promise. Alamo Promise is scholarships at scale, ensuring that we provide support for students, all graduating high school seniors, for a no-cost, high-quality undergraduate experience. When you graduate next week, right?
Yes.
So what is January? We had talked about 2021 being a better year than 2020. So when you graduate and finish next week with San Antonio College, what does 2021 spring and fall look like for you, Samantha?
Well, I will still be at SAC in the spring, taking a couple more classes. Next year, however, in the fall, I will be transferring to Texas State, and I will be double majoring in social work and public administration in hopes to open my own nonprofit one day.
That's excellent. How did you come to that decision? So to pursue social work and public administration at Texas State. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. And how did you decide to do that with the goal of opening the nonprofit?
Yes. So I mentioned that ever since I was born, I've been volunteering with my mother, who worked at a couple nonprofits. She worked at the Good Samaritan House in Corpus, as well as the Coastal Bend Bays Foundation. So volunteering has always run through my veins. But through SLI, we have leadership labs once a month. And at one of these particular leadership labs, we had, they call them Leader of Leaders, so leaders in our community come and present to us. Her name was Meredith Miller, and she is the director of the Eco Center at San Antonio College. And she came in and she basically said, hey, we may not have this planet for long, so let's take care of it. Let's take care of the people on the planet. And that really sort of like lit a fire in me. And I was like, okay, this is something I have to do. I got to do it now. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna major in social work. I'm gonna start a nonprofit. I'm gonna, help people. So that's really where it stemmed from.
That's fantastic. And so just looking at both your college plans, right? Wrapping those up with the degree next week, continuing in the spring to also take a few more courses at SAC, and then going to Texas State with the goal of opening a nonprofit. You've mentioned SLI, which is a Student Leadership Institute. And so can you tell us a little bit about SLI?
Definitely. So the Student Leadership Institute, or SLI, is a one-year program. You come in as a Tier 1 student, and we have leadership classes as well as leadership labs once a month. Leadership labs, as I said earlier, they bring in leaders of leaders, and we have different presentations. For example, we had one on dining etiquette for when you go to maybe a business lunch, or the one with Meredith, where she comes in and says, hey, like, this is what's happening on our planet right now. Let's do something about it. It really motivates those that want to continue to learn how to be a leader. And through that process, I have gained so much knowledge that I would not have had before.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for that. You mentioned the piano. What's something else that after spring, what's something else that you would tell a prospective student going to SAC or looking at SAC or any of the Alamo colleges?
I would tell them that SAC is such a great community. Even though we are not on campus right now, students, faculty, professors, they are extremely helpful. They're extremely anxious to help you. There really is that, the SAC strong, SAC proud mentality of wanting everyone around you to succeed and to get better. So I would highly recommend going to SAC if you're not already. It is a great school.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Samantha, as you can tell, is SAC proud and a wonderful advocate for San Antonio College and the Alamo Colleges, and we're definitely proud of everything that you have done in your collegiate career with us, and then also future plans at Texas State, and then the role that you're going to play after receiving your degree and establishing a nonprofit. And I think that SLI and your faculty, staff, and definitely, of course, your mom have played a critical role in that, in your path. One of the things that we've discussed as part of this is the 75th anniversary. And so a question posed is, where can I get more information about the 75th? And so you can go to alamo.edu, and then it's a / and you just put 75, and there you can go ahead and see more information. Actually, the other part is that you can, it's a little bit of crowdsourcing, right? You can also submit information, photos or other things. With any of the colleges, SAC or St. Philip's, PAC, Northwest Vista or Northeast Lakeview, played a role in working with the district. I think there are so many, as Samantha mentioned, just the experience itself are the colleagues, the friendships, the partnerships that are formed as a result of what we do. Our 4,700 employees right now, 69,000 students that we serve within the community. That's just a semester. As you look at the 75 years over time, and in particular over a century at St. Philip's College, and each of our colleges distinct in their institutional history, but then also the history of the whole family and how critical that is. Another question that's been posed is there a COVID scholarship in particular? And so what we encourage students to do is to apply to the Student Impact Fund, the COVID Student Impact Fund, which actually provides support for out-of-classroom expenses. And so that could be for rent, utilities, childcare, groceries, all of those things. If you're, you can go to the Alamo Colleges District Foundation. You can go to actually the Student Advocacy Centers. SAC has a Student Advocacy Center, and you can fill out that application, and then somebody will contact you actually within a day or so to begin the process, that application process, which is so critical. One of the things that as a part of COVID and looking at 2020 with the start in March of this year with the pandemic arriving in our community is that we've been able over the last, since that time, to directly impact 17,000 students with either federal aid or private aid. The Alamo Colleges Foundation has raised close to $500,000 in private assistance. So I want to thank you, Pam, and all of your colleagues for that.
Thank you. Honor.
Okay, and then so as part of giving, and Pamela had mentioned the 75 for 75 campaign, she has her medal, and she actually wrote a check. And so because we're practicing physical distancing, we won't do a formal handoff, but we want to thank Ms. Bain. And I want to thank you for joining us this morning for a seat at the table in particular. So both of our special guests, Ms. Bain, who's the incoming chair of the Alamo Colleges Foundation, who has served with distinction as an educator recognized for her decades-long service at San Antonio Independent School District at SAISD, and then pivoted to the private sector, and just for also for several decades has played a critical role in our engineering partnership, Medina Bain. And so thank you, and I'm going to allow Pamela to say bye to folks this morning.
Thank you. I did forget one thing. This weekend is the 13th annual GED brunch online, and you can send money that way as well. Go through the website, and again, any dollar is appreciated, and that will help you move toward San Antonio colleges.
So a very important point related to COVID and a COVID scholarship is all of those funds this year for the GED brunch, which is this Saturday, will go towards this COVID Student Impact Fund directly to the Alamo Colleges Foundation to benefit Samantha's peers who are looking at that opportunity. So thank you for mentioning that, Pamela. And then Samantha, we just wish you the best of luck. We want to thank you for your time of distinction at San Antonio College, and then congratulations. So final thoughts.
Yes, well, I want to say I've enjoyed my time at SAC so much, and I will never forget it. This will always be, my home, my campus.
Well, good. Well, thank you, and we look forward to hearing more about your journey at Texas State, successful completion of your bachelor's degree, nonprofit work, and then we encourage you to give back as well to us as Ms. Bain and other colleagues have. So congratulations to you, Samantha.
Thank you so much.
All right, and thank you all for joining us at a seat at the table, and may you stay warm during winter, and a happy holiday season to all of you, and we'll see you in a brighter, more promising 2021.